Mr. Pringle listened to what Virtuoso had to say. "I'm in," was all he said. "You can't be serious," Mrs. Pringle asked. "They tried to kill Joseph and Alex. They'll try again. If that happened and I had the chance to help and didn't take it—" "I can't go. I have to stay with Alex," Mrs. Pringle said. "Even one more sentinel in the air would make a difference," she said. Mr. Pringle hugged his wife and child. "I'll be back as soon as I can." "Father, are the sentinels engaged?" Virtuoso helped She think to Shogun. "No, I think the villains have abandoned Japan," Shogun thought back. "Get the red sentinel on the ground. I have a pilot that he needs to train." "Are you joking?" "No jokes today." Virtuoso sat the red sentinel pilot next to Mr. Pringle. She placed a hand on each and started to copy thoughts and skills from one to the other. First, she made Mr. Pringle learn Japanese, then his technical skills, then skills as a pilot, then a fighter pilot, then a sentinel pilot, and finally his experience fighting in a sentinel. It only took Virtuoso 30 minutes to do the transfer. "I think he's all set. He just needs a sentinel." "That takes us up to 13 pilots," Shogun said. "I thought you had 15 pilots," Mr. Pringle asked with his new knowledge. "3 were killed before they could report for duty," she said. "Get him back to base and in a sentinel," the red sentinel pilot said as he ran back to his own sentinel. "He's right. Go," Shogun said. "Where are you?" Prism thought to Virtuoso. "We were just dropping off a sentinel pilot. We're done now," Virtuoso thought back. "You turned your party line off. Your teammates have been flying back to base asking for more assignments. Are you on board or not?" "Coming," Virtuoso thought as she grabbed She by the arm. She was watching Mr. Pringle pilot his sentinel out of the Bishman base. "What?" The two appeared back in London in front of Prism. "Sorry, we got sidetracked. Your teams are depending on you for communication. Their lives may depend on you. If you drop the party line again, you're out of here." "I can't use anyone who isn't dependable," Prism said. "It won't happen again," She said. "I need to hear it from her." "I'm sorry, it won't happen again," Virtuoso said. "Good. I need you to fetch an alpha named Jack. I need her help programming something. Then I need a flyer from one of your teams. I found a way to pinpoint the villain's satellites." "Give me a minute to get her back," Virtuoso said. "Jack, are you there?" Virtuoso thought to Jack. "I'm alive and hiding. There are fighter planes all over the city," Jack thought back. "I need to extract you for a programming job. Are you up to it?" "Come and get me." Jack turned to her parents and told them she was needed for a technical job. Virtuoso teleported in and out with Jack, returning with her to London. "Here's your programmer." "Good, now I need a flyer to take out satellites. They may have defenses, so someone tough would be good," Prism said. "Get Olympian," She answered. Prism placed her hands on Jack's head. This will speed the learning curve. Prism fed Jack the information about the satellites and what programming needed to be done. Darkspeed didn't like to hear that he would be losing Olympian to another mission, but understood why. Prism gave Olympian a handheld scanning device and started explaining to him how to use it. "I'll stay in telepathic contact with you as you do the work. Let me show you to the hangar for takeoff," Prism said to Olympian. "I need to get to the hangar too," Jack said as she followed. "The U.S. forces are fighting villain fighters over L.A., Virtuoso said to She. "How are they doing?" "Not good. The villains are using HU or better than HU technology. They could use a few sentinels there." "Open a line to my father," She said. Shogun dispatched 4 sentinels to America. One of the pilots was Mr. Pringle. The sentinels quickly gained altitude and arched up to near space. Even without wind friction, the new sentinels would be almost half an hour getting to Los Angeles. Jack walked in to see Cosmo still working on the big birds. "Have you finished the computer systems yet?" "Hey, you!" Cosmo said in surprise. "The computer systems are done, but not hooked to anything yet. I'm working on the weapons and targeting systems. I'm kind of scared to hook them up together. I don't really know if it would just start firing weapons if the software isn't done. I'm on it. Just hook up the power to the computers and I'll talk you through it." Olympian sped toward the first enemy satellite that was directly over London. "I can't see anything, but the thingy is going crazy." "It's not a thingy. It's our top-of-the-line sensing device and palm computer. What does it say?" Prism thought. "Virtuoso can just look through our eyes. Can't you do that?" "I can. Give me a second." "There. Now hold it up so you can see it." "There you are. It should only be a few hundred feet in front of you." "I don't see... Wait, I got it. The starlight is distorted in one place, like looking through water." "That's it! You want me to just smash it?" "Can you first tell me something about it?" "I don't think we should study it. I think we should just smash all of them and throw them at the sun as quickly as possible." No, fly closer and see if you can tell me how big it is. It's about the size of a camper, or a little bigger than a sparrow. Olympian quit talking as he saw a fireball explode out the side of the thing. What was that? I think a missile launched. Look at this. Olympian held the sensor in front of his eyes. Radiological alert! That was a nuke! Olympian let go of the sensor in space and flew down after the missile at top speed. How long do I have? Less than 10 seconds. If that strikes over London, millions will die. If you could... Shut up! Olympian screamed in his mind. Olympian could see the trail left by the missile, the fuel it burned, but the missile was cloaked. He flew straight down the burnt trail in front of him until he struck something. The missile next to him became visible and started to tumble end over end. The missile was over 15 feet long and breaking apart from the turbulence. Olympian used his whole body to tackle the front part of the missile and hold it close to his chest. Once he had control of the piece he wanted, he flew directly out to space at a frantic pace. He looked back and saw the earth shrink behind him. After letting go of the missile, he came to a stop as quickly as he could. The missile detonated just as Olympian turned back toward Earth. As the nuclear weapon flashed, Olympian ducked his head and curled up into a ball. Olympian? Olympian! Olympian! Prism thought. I'm here, Olympian thought back. You made it! I had at least a mile between me and the blast. My cape is, well, vaporized, I guess. I didn't think you were going to make it. I was so worried. So I'm thinking the brains that are at Alpha and the brains that have graduated Alpha are pretty much the same with being too curious. How about I just smash the things and throw them at the sun? Prism smiled and was quiet for a moment. I think that would be a fine plan. Olympian's plan was only taking minutes to execute. Cosmos and Jack were almost done with the big birds. Virtuoso was dispatching the young Alpha teams to the hard rescue sites and the Fracas hitters to emergency sites around the globe. The 4 Sentinels started to descend quickly on the California coast. Shogun had sent 3 of his backup pilots and Mr. Pringle to help with the villain fighters. You need to pick a color, the white pilot said. Is gold taken? Mr. Pringle thought of how his son took the name Midas to start off with. Gold it is. Gold, you will be Silver's wingman. Follow his lead. Silver, you approach the city from the south. Brown and I will come from the north, White said. Be fast. Be lethal, Silver said back as an acknowledgement. As the Sentinels neared the city of Los Angeles, their sensors started to give them information. Mr. Pringle knew that over 80 of the villain fighters now dominated the sky. How many of these things attacked Japan? Mr. Pringle asked. About 200 attacked, and we had 12 Sentinels. These new Sentinels can really take the damage and keep fighting, Silver said. Mr. Pringle knew exactly what to do as his newly dubbed Gold Sentinel entered the fray. The Sentinels were struck from all directions by the smaller, quicker fighters. One blast from the forearm blasters of the Sentinel was all it took to destroy one of the villain fighters. The Gold Sentinel found itself in the center of the battle, ranking up more kills than any of the other Sentinels. Sometime during the dogfight, Mr. Pringle started barking out orders for the other pilots to follow. To the other pilots, he sounded like the red pilot. Brown, you have a pack on your 6. Bank left and take them out to sea, the gold pilot commanded. The brown sentinel banked left and accelerated out over the sea. The gold sentinel was right behind, taking out the fighters behind him. He never missed. Start bringing the fight out to sea, the gold pilot commanded. The other pilots knew the wisdom of not letting the enemy fighters fall onto the city below. Gold pilot was now in charge, telling them where to fly and how to maneuver. To the other pilots, it was like the red pilot was suddenly with them. We have more coming in from the south, Silver said. Silver, on your next hit, take a dive into the water. Wait 30 seconds and then come back up and into the fight, Gold said. Why do that? White asked. On his fall, we'll fake a fall back, like we want to retreat to Japan. That should draw the rest out to see if they smell blood, Gold said. On his next hit from a fighter, he let his controls go and his sentinel flopped into the Pacific. Be fast, be lethal, Silver said. The 3 remaining sentinels turned and flew out to sea. The enemy fighters, after seeing one of the 4 fall, turned to pursue in force. After 20 seconds at high speed, the sentinels turned and fought. The battle was fierce and lightning quick. The Silver Sentinel was soon swooping in for added firepower. As the villain fighter numbers dwindled, they tried to make a retreat from the fight. Don't let one escape, Gold yelled. If they try to scatter in all directions, each of us take one zone to pursue. I'll take north. I have south, White said. I have east, Silver said. I'll take west, Brown said. Brown, if none of them go west, you go where the most are, Gold said. Be fast, be lethal, Brown said in response.